Governor Obiano inaugurates 5-member State Civil Service Commission. Experts applaud Nigeria for being committed to efforts against the proliferation of nuclear weapons as the state commemorates International Day Against Nuclear Tests. British Prime Minister Mrs. May arrives Nigeria as part of her tour of some African countries. 21-year-old Hong Kong woman deceptively signs genuine marriage document with a total stranger. Good evening and many thanks for joining us on the evening news. My name is Ifunaya Amafili and the news in details. The Governor Willie Obiano has sworn in a 5-member Anambra State Civil Service Commission. The swearing-in ceremony took place at the Governor's Lodge, Amobia, Government House. Our correspondent, Kenechukwu Ofoma, has more details.
The new commission, which has Mrs. Colette Wajiani as chairperson, has other members including Mr. Philip Kwazu, Chief Simon Honora, Sir Moses Anakebe, and Mrs. Shishi Obuli. The commission, as a statutory body with constitutional backing, has among its charges to recruit, promote, and discipline civil servants. Members of the new commission, who have been duly confirmed by the State House of Assembly, were sworn in on behalf of the Governor by the Commissioner for Justice and the Attorney General of the State, Barrister Ujunwogu, represented by the Chief State Counsel, Barrister Dubem Uzoka. Inaugurating the commission, Governor Obiano said under their leadership, his government expects to see a rejuvenated and productive civil service, where commitment to duty and integrity will be the watchword. He revealed that the appointment is coming on the heels of his approval of the 2017 promotion of civil servants, having completed the 2015 and 2016 promotions, adding that his government has a lot of welfare packages for workers.
At least since my administration took over, they've always received their salaries, pensions, gratuities timely, as and when. To whom much is given, much is expected. So we would like you to go with that mindset. We want to, under your leadership, we want to see a very productive civil service, very disciplined, very proactive, people with integrity. The watchword will be integrity, hard work. On the government side, we are going to meet all our obligations on the government side, but it is for the civil servants to meet their own obligations. Very important. To whom much is given, much is expected. So we would like you to go with that mindset. We want to, under your leadership, we want to see a very productive civil service, very disciplined, very proactive, people with integrity. The watchword will be integrity, hard work. On the government side, we are going to meet all our obligations on the government side, but it is for the civil servants to meet their own obligations. Very important. And that's your assignment, to make sure that that happens.
Noting that the members of the commission were carefully selected because of their experience and track record of excellence, Governor Obiano charged them to immediately hit the ground running towards achieving their mandate.
These ladies and gentlemen have a pedigree, very well selected, very seasoned in civil service matters, and I believe they will bring the wealth of the experience to bear on the service of the discharge of your duty in Anambra State. I'm quite happy that you are coming on board now. More so that I've just authorized the promotion for 2017. And we've done more. We just finished 15 and 16, and we're doing 17. And very soon we'll move to another stage. So they have their job very well cut out for them. There are also many other goodies that I've already approved for the civil servants. But I will announce that at the appropriate time. So Don't ask me when it's the appropriate time.
The head of service, Barrister Harry Odo, said the prompt constitution of the new commission to replace the outgone one demonstrates the governor's high regards for the welfare of civil servants and pledged the workers' loyalty and support to his administration, as according to him, the governor has done them well.
Your Excellency, this event is particularly significant because the transition between the outgone commission and this incoming one is just zero, no gap. The implication is a formal demonstration of the love you have for public servants. Because without the inauguration of these gentlemen and ladies, very little will move on in the civil service. So it's a further confirmation of the high regard that you have for the service and the welfare of your workers.
Responding on behalf of the new commission, the chairperson, Mrs. Wajiani, thanked the governor for the opportunity to serve the state and assured that they will discharge their duties in the best interests of the state.
On behalf of the new constituted commission, I most respectfully wish to thank you for the opportunity given us to serve. We appreciate the fact that we are choosing our government. We give God all the glory and we thank you immensely, Your Excellency, for this great privilege.
The members of the commission later took oath of office and allegiance. Peace.
To the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I will preserve, protect, and defend.
In view of the spate of erosion raging the area and other parts of the state government has ordered the closure of the Oko Sand Beach for 1 month pending conclusion of the environmental impact assessment study. The Commissioner for Environment, Architecture Mike Okonkwo gave the directives on behalf of Governor Willie Obiano when he paid a visit to the erosion site. AJK Abana has more report on that and then fills us in.
Noted that the measure is to enable further intervention by both federal and state governments, World Bank and other relevant agencies against erosion menace in the area. Architect Okonkwo, who said that sand mining activities at the beach may be responsible for the erosion challenge, urged sand miners in the community to cooperate as the measure has a lot of benefits for the community and the state. He pronounced sand mining in the area as illegal henceforth, directing relevant security agencies to enforce compliance, pointing out that it is not the intention of the government to disturb anybody's livelihood, but to ensure healthy environmental practices and protection of lives and property.
We will ask that you cooperate with the state government. Just need some time to really look at the situation. Too long. Chief Dr. Willie Obiano properly. First, we have to follow the guidelines. The guideline is that let's see what this state will name here to the environment. MSCI say, okay, not that bad. I continue. Or MSCI say, okay, hey, continue. Let's follow the guidelines. Because, so when approval before more about it, it is hereby cancelled until I complete my investigation.
The President General of Oko Progressive Union, Honorable Cyprian Nwamwo, lamented that due to sand mining activities in the area, farmlands have been lost, even as the chairman of the youth wing of Oko Progressive Union, Mr. Emmanuel Izuebunam, appreciated state government's interest, pledging their support to end erosion menace.
The more it erodes, and so many families have fallen into the erosion sites. We have lost a lot of farmland. We have lost human beings in this process. And they formed a guerrilla group to fund this period to come to you for your assistance. Because the power is on your table. The rules are on your table.
Themselves and the community, the elders, the women, the children, we've decided somehow that we must stop this sand excavation, whether good or bad. But thank God that today the institution, the Federal Polytechnic Institution is here and you yourself is here as well. to address the whole menace. So,
the chairman of Ihengu Village, Oko, and the chairman of Orumba Tipa Drivers Association, Mr. Arinze Anyaralo, said they are not against the ban on sand excavation in the area, even though they have license to operate, but pleaded with the state government to make the ban enforcement all-embracing to accommodate other areas where detrimental sand mining is ongoing. The commissioner had on arrival interacted with some villagers at the Oko Civic Center and later paid an inspection visit to the Oko Polytechnic axis of the erosion. From Oko in Orumba North Council area, Ejike Abana, ABS News.
The Anambra State Traffic Management Agency, ATMA, says it will henceforth confiscate any vehicle parked along major roads in the state. This measure is to drive home the need to free roadsides and motorways in the state of traffic congestion, as envisioned by Governor Willie Obiano. The Chief Executive Officer of ATMA, Mr. Chris Uzoechina, stated this during an inspection visit along Onitsha Highway to check the traffic situation. Our correspondent, Emmanuel Chigbata, takes the story from here.
During the exercise, traders who blocked roads while pursuing their trading, as well as drivers loading passengers along the roadsides, were directed to evacuate immediately. Mr. Uzeshina advised drivers to always obey traffic laws to avoid causing gridlock, especially in busy areas of the state. He said offenders who do not abide by the traffic rules will have to pay government through a designated bank account a certain amount of money commensurate with the traffic offense committed. He also stated plans to reposition the agency for effective service delivery.
Ourselves, in spite of all the challenges, we motivate ourselves to get on the street to do the right thing. That's what we do. There are sanctions for wrong parking, illegal parking, several other things, and illegal trading. We need to remove all illegal activities from our roads.
On our part, a trader along Onitsha Owerri Road, Mrs. Ogochukwu Okonkwo, and a resident of Onitsha, Mr. Onyebuchi Uzo, appreciated the efforts of the agency on the exercise, saying that Governor Willie Obiano's administration has brought a better transformation in Onitsha and other parts of the state. According to them, stealing, robbing, kidnapping, and other social vices have been reduced.
So everywhere I go come.
At the end of the exercise, ABS discovered that the congested city turned out to be free as vehicles and tricycles were freely plying on the road. From Onitsha, I am Emmanuel Shibata reporting for ABS News.
An expert in international relations and politics, Barrister Sam Okeke, has said the international community will fail in its nuclear disarmament programs if it does not succeed in disarming nuclear weapon zones in Russia and United States of America. Barrister Okeke, a lecturer in the Department of History and International Studies, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, made the assessment while speaking to our correspondent, David, ahead of today's celebration of International Day Against Nuclear Tests. The report in full.
The international relations scholar said the first steps that must be taken care of would be to end further nuclear weapon activities in the two nuclear zones of Siberia in Russia and Alaska in the US, and take concrete steps at making sure that more nations do not acquire nuclear weapons. He said that so far it has become difficult for total denuclearization because leading nations are world powers who have remained reluctant and adamant to achieving success in that respect. Barrister Okeke gave Nigeria thumbs up for always being committed to efforts against the proliferation of nuclear weapons.
In 2010, NPT were reviewed and Nigeria is supporting it. Nigeria belongs to a non-nuclear country. And Nigeria has influenced South Africa that had atomic bomb in the apartheid era. And immediately South Africa became, let's say, race-free area. They stopped nuclear program. So Nigeria's stance is good because Nigeria never supported proliferation of weapons of mass destruction in the world.
Since 16th July 1945, when the first nuclear weapon was tested, over 2,000 other tests have taken place, causing uncountable human and environmental tragedies. According to experts, a nuclear weapon detonated in a community will destroy millions of human, animal and plant lives within a 50-mile radius and could release radiations and energy that removes atoms from electrons, thereby damaging the DNA. This is why, at the 64th session of the United Nations General Assembly, the international community adopted Resolution 6435, thereby declaring 29th August as International Day Against Nuclear Tests. The day is set aside to engage in educational activities, events, and messages aimed to capture the world's attention and underscore the need for unified efforts to prevent further nuclear weapon testing. According to the United Nations Office for Disarmament Affairs, the timeline for disarmament treaties shows that at least 37 different treaties have been signed between 24 January 1946 and 19th November 2010. Some of the most popular treaties include Partial Test Ban Treaty of 1963, Other Space Treaty of 1967, Seed Bid Treaty of 1971, Ottawa Convention or Mine Ban Convention of 1999, among others. In Oka, this is David of Okwasele reporting, Fabius News.
Members of a non-governmental organization, Pakpando Media Group, has presented a check of over 500,000 naira to Mr. and Mrs. Onyebuchi Odo, the parents of the set of quintuplets delivered in Nnewi Hospital recently. The administrative officer of the group, Mr. Chris Adike, while thanking God for the gift of the children as well as the successful delivery of the babies, enjoined the parents to raise them with the fear of God. Details from our studio.
Presenting the check, the coordinator of Pakpando Media Group, Chief Okenwankwo, said the intervention is in line with the objectives of the organization towards assisting to uplift the living standard of the less privileged persons. Chief Wankwo, while thanking those who assisted in raising money for the quintuplets, appealed to other good-spirited members of the society to come and assist the family, as there are still lots of other areas the family needs support.
Media Group initiated the Manamu coordinator, but I go across everywhere. Who know you go on a chemistry? I have seen a Morphos group. I have no Brasi group. Yeji Kotalanya, Ibatampu and Maka.
Other members of the group, including Chief Ben Obi and Lady Chimdende Orapwe, thanked God for the gifts of the children and advised the couple to use the money judiciously and ensure that they undergo all the required immunization processes to keep them fit and healthy.
Okay, when KC about Bolo President, Bolo informed Nana, but Obu Nanyaka, it waits near Amako KC.
Buba, Chinekebo, Kainyaka, Korebuba, To, Omazia Dindo, Makago Gobafa, Samusisia, Unobona, Tinyaka, behind a medium.
Responding, the parents of the quintuplets, Mr. and Mrs. Odo, thanked God for using the group and other good-spirited members of the society to alleviate their plight.
Before I move myself, even because I'm very good. I did that. I'm more if you last if you were 7,000. A long time, I can't never bring my home Mazigan, Toromoto, Manabuto, and Major Ego. But I do face a gazeketa. I want me to make you make a chileke. After 2 days, I'm and the people not try. When we was in Kulu, when they go Chineke Meru, Meraifa, Chineke goes in
Mr. Odo, who is a keke driver, hails from Ovoko village in Soka and has 4 children before the arrival of the 5 babies. Presentation of the check formed the high points of the visit.
The essence of synergy among all stakeholders in tackling all issues in community development was brought on focus as the Enugu Community Development Union gathered to install its national patrons as well as give award to outstanding indigents and friends of the community. Our correspondent Kenechukwu Chukudi now reports.
Enugu Civic Center, venue of the event, bore witness to who is who from the community and beyond who converged to join the union in celebrating success. They include the traditional ruler, Igwe of Ekpe, the senator representing Anambra Central, Chief Victor Ume, member representing Njikoka, Dunukofia and Aniocha Federal Constituency at the House of Representatives, Chief Dozie Nwankwo, among numerous patrons and awardees. In his remark, the President General of Enugu Community Development Union, ECDU, Mr. Boni Ozonkwaku, noted that the union, since the inauguration of its current executive, has focused on an inclusive leadership for sustainable development and impact on the people of Enugu. He noted that through concerted efforts, the union has achieved much, as synergy was critical to community development.
To run an all-inclusive community development union for sustainable development. In this regard, is to give the union back to the people. This collaboration is yielding positive results, as we shall demonstrate shortly.
The President, ECDU National Patrons, Engineer Chris Okoye, and the Chairman of the occasion, Dr. Osita Ibenebu, were of the view that town unions are critical to community development, adding that Enugu has tried to foster unity and peace among its fold. They paid tribute to founding members of ECDU and its past leaders for the impact they made.
This communitarian legacy, if we intend to usher ECDU into a new age of community empowerment.
Fertile ground on which development can grow. Kuku Forum in particular. We went a long way to bring peace to our community.
Some of the awardees and installed patrons, which included Victor Ume, Dozien Wankwo, Ozo Dennis Okechukwu, Ozo Ima Wankwo, promised to contribute towards the progress of Enugu, especially now that their little effort has been recognized. From the Enugu Civic Center, it's been Kenechukwu Chukwudi for ABS News.
We'll take a short break here, and don't forget, when we return, ABS has more news for you. See you soon.
Ike anyị dị ka ndị Anambra bụ ike kọrọ onye ga-achị anyị. Nke a bụ nnukwu ike dị anyị n'aka. Ike ime ihe ziri ezi, ike ịgbanwe ọnọdụ anyị, ike ime ka ọnọdụ a dị mma dịrị na-aga. Ike nke a bụ Permanent Voters Card PVC. Ọ bụ ike anyị nwere ịkwụrụ onye anyị chọrọ n'ọchịchị. N'ihi nke a ka anyị ji ọsịsọ jee weta PVC anyị tupu ụbọchị Fraịde abalị 31 nke ọnwa Ọgọst afọ abụ 2018 mgbe ọ ga-abịa na njedebe. Jee kịta weta PVC gị, weta ike gị. Jee ọsịsọ weta PVC gị site tata ruo na Fraịde abalị 31 nke ọnwa Ọgọst afọ abụ 2018 mgbe ọ ga-abịa na njedebe. Oke anyị agaghị efu na Anambra steeti. Ozi a si n'aka gọọmenti Anambra steeti.
Many thanks for staying with us. And on the national scene, the British Prime Minister, Mrs. Theresa May, arrived at the State House to meet with President Muhammad Buhari at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. This is as President Buhari has cancelled the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting, FEC, to welcome his August visitor. Mrs. May arrived exactly 1 p.m. and was ushered in by the military pipers of the Guard Brigade Band, where President Buhari officially welcomed her. Afterwards, she went into a closed-door meeting with President Buhari at the new banquet hall of the State House. May's visit to Nigeria is part of her tour of some African countries. On ground to receive her, apart from the President, were 7 ministers led by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Oyema, the Chief of Staff, Abba Kyari, and Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa. However, Mrs. May left the precinct of the State House about 1:50 p.m. with the normal fanfare of the Brigade Band playing to her delight after meeting behind closed doors with President Buhari. And on the entertainment scene, popular Nigerian Afro-pop musician David Adeleke, popularly known as Davido, has finally joined the mandatory National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) on Tuesday. Davido, who graduated from Babcock University in 2015 after studying music, shared a photo of himself wearing the NYSC uniform. He also wrote on his Instagram page, Otondo Obo, tying up every loose end. NYSC is a 1-year mandatory service for any Nigerian graduate below the age of 30. Davido also said that every Nigerian graduate must undergo the training to qualify for gainful employment in the country. On the foreign scene, a 21-year-old Hong Kong woman has said she was tricked into marrying a complete stranger on the mainland while taking part in a mock wedding. In May, the 21-year-old, whose name has not been told, saw a listing on Facebook for a makeup artist apprenticeship. But after applying, she was convinced by the firm to switch to a wedding planner role. She was given a week's worth of free training in Hong Kong and was told she needed to participate in the mock wedding in the Chinese province of Fujian to pass the course. The woman has said she was told that she had to play the role of a bride in a stimulated wedding as part of her training to be a wedding planner. Despite the ceremony, she and the man signed a genuine marriage document in a local government center, which the company told her would be void. Afterwards, only for her to realize that it was an actual marriage after returning to Hong Kong, where she sought legal help. Local police were unable to help due to lack of evidence that a crime had taken place. So she approached the Hong Kong Federation of Trade Unions. But after coming back to Hong Kong, one of her classmates convinced her that it was a scam. But she remains married for now and may have to apply for a divorce. Each year, Hong Kong police see an average of 1,000 cross-border marriages scam cases. And don't forget, you can listen to us on our news and programs from any part of the world by logging into our website, which is www.absradiotv.com. Or you may like us on our Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/ABS Radio Television, or follow us on Twitter and Instagram at absradio.tv. And that's it for the news, but before we go, we'll take a recap of our headlines today. Governor Obiano inaugurates a 5-member State Civil Service Commission, charges them to recruit, promote, and discipline civil servants. Experts applaud Nigeria for being committed to efforts against the proliferation of nuclear weapons as the world commemorates International Day Against Nuclear Tests. On the foreign scene, British Prime Minister Mrs. May arrives Nigeria as part of her tour of some African countries. And a 21-year-old Hong Kong woman deceptively signs a genuine marriage document with a total stranger. Many thanks for being with us. And that's it on the ABS Evening News. Join us shortly. Goodbye.